Catch all of us UPN Monday after one-on-one.
You're watching UPN 8, Southwest Florida's home of the UPN.
The Florida Flame and the Fort Worth Flyers on a quest for NBA D-League supremacy. Two teams who've been atop the D-League standings all season in a battle for home court advantage in the playoffs. Fort Worth, led by Dallas Maverick rookie forward Raul Marshall, going head-to-head with Minnesota Timberwolves guard and the Flames' own Bracy Wright. The stage is set. The time is now, as number 1 and number 2 in the D-League do battle. For the Flame and Flyers, the perfect ending is to capture the D-League's regular season crown, securing home court advantage in the playoffs. For the players, the goal is to earn a roster spot in the NBA. And tonight, the goal for both teams is to walk away with a much-needed win. It's the Flame and Flyers. The NBA dream starts here. For the players, the future is now. It's a basketball Sunday in Southwest Florida. This afternoon live from Germain Arena, it's NBA Development League basketball as the Florida Flame host the Fort Worth Flyers. And welcome to Florida Flame basketball on UPN 8, everyone. I'm Tim Becker along with Nick Kruger. As today, the Flame will try to get back on the winning track. Jeff Malone's ball club has lost 3 in a row to drop out of first place in the NBA Development League standings for the first time since December. And Nick, when you look in today's matchup, bad news for Florida coming in for the second straight ball game. The Flame will be without their head coach, Jeff Malone, who is out with an illness. Also, without their 2 leading scorers, Bracy Wright out with a foot injury. Also, Andre Barrett out with an illness as well. Terry Thimler will take the reins today, trying to find something for the remainder of his roster.
Yeah, and what Coach Thimler really needs to focus on is to be more disciplined on offense and tougher on defense. We saw Fort Worth get a lot of penetration on Thursday night's game against DeJuan Irwin and Theron Smith. Tonight he's going with George Leach at center, which should provide a little bit more toughness, a little bit more length and height for the Florida defense. But we're going to need to see a lot more presence of mind on both ends of the court for Florida to be successful, especially without their 2 leading scorers.
For the Fort Worth Flyers, led by head coach Sam Vincent, they just want to keep the train rolling. They're the league's hottest team over the last month. They come in with a 4-game win streak, and they've won 12 of their last 14 overall. Sam Vincent has the league's most efficient ball club, committing the fewest turnovers per game in the circuit right now, but they are also the best defensive team in the league as well. All that adds up to a great winning formula for the Flyers.
Yeah, and when you look at the statistics for Fort Worth, they're not a great team from the floor. They have bottom 3 in field goal percentage from the floor, but really how they run their offense is off other teams' miscues. They're in the top 2 league in steals and blocks per game, and that's really how they set themselves up. They create a lot of opportunities for themselves, and that's why Florida needs to stay focused offensively and not allow Fort Worth to get into that rhythm in the transition game.
When we return, we'll have starting lineups and the opening tip. It's the Florida Flame and the Fort Worth Flyers on UPN 8.
The number 1 Century 21 in the world. For over 20 years, Barbara Watt and her Century 21 Sunbelt Realty team have been providing unparalleled real estate service with 21 offices throughout Southwest Florida. We're number 1 for a reason. Let us show you why. When you think Century 21, think Sunbelt.
Don't be boxed in by a bad wireless phone plan, trapped in a contract without enough minutes. Let Metro PCS set you free with unlimited local and long distance for just $40 a month and no contract. Metro PCS.
Hello, hello, hello.
Permission to speak freely.
Go! Play on 3. 1, 2, 3, play!
The road to the NBA runs through Southwest Florida.
See the future of the Heat when you catch the Flame.
Our game, our flame. Our game, our flame. Our game, our flame.
Our game, our flame.
Our game, our flame.
It's our game, our flame.
Our game, our flame.
Our game, our flame. Yeah!
Catch the flame. It's hot. Lee Convenient Care Walk-In Medical Centers offer quick, friendly, and quality health care with no appointment. For hours and locations, visit leememorial.org.
You know who your friends are.
How did you and your doggy get out of your house?
They give it to you straight.
What you're supposed to do is give your drinking up and stay home with baby.
They're always dependable.
What would you do if I offered you some help?
When you're in need,
Who you can call?
Cops. Weeknights at 10 on UPN 8.
Welcome back to Florida Flame Basketball on UPN 8. Tim Beckwar and Nick Kruger here from Germain Arena. As this afternoon, the Flame and Flyers do battle for the 4th time this season as Fort Worth leading the season series 3-0 over the Florida Flame, including Thursday's 105-86 victory here at Germain Arena by Sam Vincent's Flyers Ball Club. Here are today's starting lineups. And first for the Florida Flame, and a couple of changes. As we noted earlier, Bracy Wright not in the starting lineup today. He's out with a stress fracture, and he will be out for some time. So at the shooting guard spot, it will be Lenny Stokes making his 2nd consecutive start. Andre Barrett today out with an illness, so E.J. Rowland will make his first start of the campaign at point guard. Austin Nichols at that 3 spot. It'll be DeJuan Irwin at the power forward, and George Leach, the former Indiana Hoosier, at center. For the Fort Worth Flyers, under Sam Vincent, at point guard, Aaron Miles, the former Kansas Jayhawk. Ime Udoka, who received an NBA call from the LA Lakers 2 seasons ago, will start at shooting guard. Kalena Azubuike, the former Kentucky Wildcat, at small forward. Indy Eby, formerly of the Minnesota Timberwolves, now with the Flyers at power forward, and Luke Schencher, the former Georgia Tech Yellow Jacket, at center. Today's officials, John Goebel, Curtis Blair, and Mark Lindsay. It'll be George Leach and Luke Schencher to jump at center court as the tap is won by Leach, and Lenny Stokes controls for the Florida Flame. As Stokes, former Cincinnati Bearcat, on the drive, comes underneath as his wraparound feed and knocked away, stolen by Ime Udoka. And Udoka amongst the league leaders in steals, averaging 1.8 thefts per contest, as the Flyers with their first offensive possession. Miles, the whip pass, but Udoka cannot handle it. Outside, Miles again will raise as his long jumper from 18 is no good. And the rebound tapped outside by Lenny Stokes, but he cannot run it down. It'll be Fort Worth basketball with a new 24-second clock.
And right off the bat, you see Fort Worth attacking the basket, and Florida knows that they've been down to these guys by double digits in the past 3 times that they played them, so immediately they're focusing on anybody with the ball, and Fort Worth needs to take advantage of those outlet passes early.
Schencher against Leach, out of the double, as Eby off his foot, and Stokes up with it for Florida. Terry Thimler today needs superior execution out of his ball club for 4 quarters. Undermanned coming into the contest today. Without their 2 leading scorers, they will maybe have to play a perfect game. Stokes in traffic. Nichols will launch from mid-range distance and knock it down.
And you love to see Austin Nichols get into it early, because on Thursday night he only had 5 points in 20-plus minutes, and he only shot 22% from the floor. So it's important for him, especially without Florida's 2 leading scorers, out for him to get into a rhythm early.
Nichols in his 2nd year in the D-League, last year with the Huntsville Flight. And Florida off to that early lead. Schencher's jump hook blocked by George Leach, averaging 1.2 swats per game. Nichols again to the goal. His shot is blocked by Udoka inside, but he hit the deck. Contact was made on the body as Nichols still down. And the foul against Ime Udoka, who picks up his first team foul.
And right away, Nichols, going to that versatile game that we've seen from him towards the midpoint of the season. He came into this team as primarily a jump shooter, but lately we've seen him play a lot more versatile, attack the basket, and there's a prime example right there. It takes the hard foul, and Florida needs these free throws to maintain that early lead.
So Austin Nichols, the first 2 points came on a jump shot, now trying to add to that Florida advantage. Nichols out of Humboldt State in the Division II ranks. As Austin, the Oakland, California native, a first-team NCAA D2 All-American as a senior at Humboldt State back in 2004, where he averaged 21.4 points a game. And he has the first 4 points of the contest for Florida. As Rowland falls to the floor but gets up very quickly. Nice point guard matchup today. Miles against a very good defender in Rowland. This time it's Azubuike who connects from the outside. And Kalena, the former UK Wildcat, putting Fort Worth on the board.
And when you talk about that point guard matchup and the loss of Andre Barrett, you see E.J. Rowland step in, who's really picked up his game since the half point of the season. He's just as quick as Andre Barrett, just a little taller.
Play broke down, but Rowland all alone to the corner, and his long jumper for the baseline is good. E.J. Rowland not known for his shooting touch, but dropping it down for the outside.
You know Florida will take all the points they can get right now against Fort Worth early.
On the curl, there is Udoka again, knifing his way inside for the EC2. Ime Udoka out of Portland State. This is his third NBA Development League season. He played 2 seasons with the Charleston Lowgators. As Stokes against a triple team tried to wrap it around after he left his feet to Leach, and Leach could not hang on. Bad pass and a bad catch. And Florida has to stay away from that turnover number here today. Already 2 for the Flame as the Flyers come into this contest, committing the fewest turnovers in the league. But right there, Miles with a nice look ahead, and Udoka getting behind the defense for the EC2.
And you talk about George Leach, and he's a guy that can definitely give you some numbers throughout the course of a game. But I think the knock on him is he's not quite as aggressive as you like to see. That goes for under the boards, attacking the basketball. If Leach can play with a little more aggression tonight, we'll see much better post play for Florida.
Off the inbound, Rowland, watched by Miles. Now Irwin on the drive. Good double as he has to give it up to Stokes. Shot clock now at 3. Rowland's got to hurry, finding Leach back door, and he ran out of time. Shot clock violation as the Flame turn it over for the 3rd time, and we are just 3 minutes and 5 seconds into this contest.
Yeah, and that goes straight to court awareness right there. Just what I was talking about that last segment right there. George Leach needs to get that ball in his hands and go immediately to the rack. Don't put the ball on the floor in the paint. That's a sin.
Azubuike off the pick, driving inside for the right-hand scoop, and he scores. Buena Azubuike, 4 points. Ime Udoka with 4 points, and the Flyers on an 8-4 spurt have taken their first lead. Leach in the high post as he leans in against Schencher. Wild shot off the glass, offensive rebound. Irwin put back, rejected by Eby coming over for the weak side. Loose ball picked up by Miles. He has numbers, finding Schencher the trailer, but he missed the right-hand backhand lay-in. You won't get too many easier than that. And Florida dodges a bullet. As Rowland's pass in transition, that one knocked away and deflected. Miles brings it back. They've got a 3-on-4. Udoka to the goal. He lays it up and in, and he's fouled. Count the basket. He'll get 1 to the line. There's the foul on George Leach. Back on transition defense, and a crafty move by Udoka to get that ball up and in.
And there's that transition offense we talked about in the pregame for Fort Worth, and that's how they score points in bunches right there. Florida wasn't able to get back in time, and what you'll look at when you see Fort Worth play is Azubuike, Udoka, Evie. These are guys that are all more or less the same build, very strong, very quick guys, and they're the ones who are tough to stop in transition because they've got such good body presence.
Udoka's free throw missed, but Schencher the putback, and he puts it over the top of Irwin to score it. So the Flyers starting to play their kind of game. A crafty, hustling kind of ball club that Sam Vincent presents. And it's 12-6. Another turnover here. Udoka, one-on-one with Rowland. Scoop to the goal, no good, but a foul. And John Goebel, the baseline official, saying that EJ got him with a hip check.
And that was a close call right there for EJ. And you know he pulled up at the very end because he didn't want to give up that cheap foul. But at least you could say that Udoka didn't make that basket, and he's going to have to work for those 2 points now.
Foul on E.J. Rowland is first, second team foul. And here is Udoka back to the foul line. Udoka already with 6 points to lead all scorers. Udoka tied for 9th in the D-League in scoring at 17 points per game, along with the Flames' Andre Barrett, who is not here today. He is under the weather, as Ime Udoka's first free throw no good. Udoka last season playing overseas in Spain and France. But Ime, one of the finest all-around players that we've seen in the NBA Development League through its 5 seasons. Second free throw is up and good. So 13-6, and just like that, the Flyers on an 11-0 run. And apparently we have clock problems, so we will restart the shot clock. Not the kind of start that Terry Thimler wanted to see from his ball club today.
No, and what you can look for if you're the Flame is it's still early. last Thursday, we saw Theron Smith step up and be one of those guys that Florida really looked to in crunch time, and he didn't even start tonight. So now that he's on the floor, maybe you can see a little jolt of energy, a little boost coming from the post, because you know Theron Smith wants to win this game.
TJ Sorrentine now on at point guard for Florida, but apparently Ime Udoka was cut on that last play, and he will be attended to by Anthony Aldridge, the Fort Worth athletic trainer. He will have to come out of the game, and coming on is Anthony Terrell. Terrell, who has been a starter for the majority of the year, 6'6", 230-pound second-year pro out of UNC Wilmington. Stokes off the give and go on a switch met by Schenchard. Kick out for Nichols, long range, and his jumper no good, back rim. So the Flames starting to go cold. They're just 2 of 5 for the field. Flyers now 6 of 9 shooting the basketball today. A 7-point Fort Worth advantage. Miles finding Schenchard, deep position inside. It's too easy. Just turned with a right-hand jump hook and scored it.
And that's what you're going to see Schenchard do very often. He's not the quickest guy on the floor, but he's definitely the tallest, and he's going to win that physical matchup with George Leach unless George decides to toughen up and get in his face a little bit more.
A whistle and a foul inside as this one away from the ball. As Indy Eby with a push off. That's his first personal. And that is the second team foul. Here's Theron Smith just checking in. The Flames' third leading scorer. And he has the ball knocked away again. Here comes Fort Worth in transition. Azubuike stumbling to the goal, but on the follow, Schenchard, the trailer, able to throw it down with a two-hand putback jam.
Well, right now, Florida's plan is simple. Attack the basket, try and get those high percentage shots, so that way you don't lose yourself in transition. But right now, they're not even getting the chance to put those high percentage shots up.
The Flyers force Terry Thimler's hand. A timeout taken by Florida as Sam Vincent's ball club off and running in the early going. They lead at 17-6 over the Flame on UPN 8.
Barbara Watt's Century 21 Sunbelt Realty has 21 offices throughout Southwest Florida and over 800 real estate professionals to give you unparalleled service. We're the #1 Century 21 in the world for a reason. Let us show you why. When you think Century 21, think Sunbelt.
So I'm going to get 5,000 anytime minutes.
Yeah, you get 5,000 anytime minutes.
Why did you just do that?
Why did I do what?
That thing.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I would actually just feel better if you could say it again without that thing.
Yeah, you get 5,000 anytime minutes.
Okay, you just did it again.
What?
Switch to Metro PCS, where anytime really means anytime. For $40 a month, talk all you want, anytime. Metro PCS.
Hello, hello, hello.
Permission to speak freely.
Go! Flame on 3. 1, 2, 3, flame!
The road to the NBA runs through Southwest Florida.
See the future of the Heat when you catch the flame.
Our game, our flame. Our game, our flame. Our game, our flame.
Our game, our flame.
Our game, our flame.
It's our game, our flame.
Our game, our flame.
Our game, our flame! Yeah!
Catch the flame. It's hot.
The need for blood doesn't take a holiday. Lee Memorial Blood Centers urge you to give the gift of life. Be a blood donor at any of our hospitals.
The word is out. Everybody hates Chris, except the Washington Post and TV Guide, Newsday, USA Today, Time Magazine, There may be haters, but we can't find them.
A 15-0 run by the Fort Worth Flyers has Sam Vincent's club up by 11, 17-6 over the Florida Flame. Flyers red hot from the floor, 8 of 12 shooting in the early going, 67%. The Flame just 2 of 5. And already Florida with 6 turnovers, which have led to 11 Fort Worth points in the first quarter. Florida trying to find their rhythm. As Smith, the lift fake, now will step in against Eby, and the long jumper no good, back rim. So Florida 2 of 6 from the floor now, 2 of 2 from the foul line, but not taking care of the basketball. And Fort Worth is capitalized. There's Miles, former Kansas Jayhawk, finding Eby. He will raise from long distance, in and out. And George Leach pulling down rebound number 2. Here is Smith taking it up against Eby, using his body for some space, and he fired it off the window and scored it.
Again, that's that power game Florida was looking to, and maybe now that Theron Smith is in there, shows a little more gusto than Lenny Stokes. We'll see a little bit more presence down low and a little more points in transition for Florida.
Smith with the steal ahead to Sorrentine. Layup blocked by Eby, and Schencher comes up with it. And another turnover forced by Fort Worth as Azubuike straight on. But his jumper from the top of the circle is no good. Sorrentine will lead it across. TJ Sorrentine, the former Virginia Catamount, finding Leach on the take to the goal. Count it, and he's fouled.
And again, Florida right there continuing to do what they came into this game trying to establish a low post game, and we saw in the last 2 possessions George Leach and Theron Smith get in there and play some tough basketball. And what this is going to do later in the game for Florida is get Fort Worth to focus on that low block and open up some outside shots for Florida. That's when Austin Nichols will step in, and you'll see some more jump shots coming from that area of the team.
Miles and Azubuike will sit down for the Flyers. Langford checking in. Keith Langford, the rookie guard out of Kansas. And the Flyers also sending Ime Udoka back out of the floor. Eby one-on-one with Smith as he leans in. His double clutch floater is well off, and the rebound tapping outside towards the corner. Nobody can track that down as Florida basketball.
And right now on the last 2 to 3 possessions, what we've seen from Florida is make Fort Worth come out of a set piece, and they've had a lot more success at stopping that than they have when Fort Worth puts themselves in transition.
So Leach out, Irwin back on for the Florida front line. Stokes against a double team, finding Smith. The jumper is short. Irwin on the weak side trying for the offensive board, pushed off.
DeJuan Irwin's got to find a way to stay in this game, because we saw at the end of last Thursday when the Florida's 3 big men, Leach, Smith, and Irwin, all got into foul trouble, and that really cost them at the end. Because even though Leach was the only one that fouled out, when you start to pile up those fouls, you play much more tentative on defense, and you give up points, and that's just as bad.
Eby will get a breather now for Sam Vincent, and coming on, Deji Akindele, the 7'1", 240-pound rookie out of Chicago State, who will take over at the 4 spot. Here's Akindele, top of the circle. Now Terrell stepping back and connecting. Anthony Terrell, not really known for his jump shooting ability, but he put it home, and the Flyers lead is back to 8 at 19-11.
Well, Austin Nichols played that one about as well as he can play it. If you hit a fadeaway, you hit a fadeaway. That's the toughest shot in basketball to defend.
Smith against Akindele. Looking to take him off the dribble now, fires it to Irwin to the ball side block. Wraparound feed inside, Nichols in a crowd, scoops it up, score it, and he's fouled.
And the best thing right now that Florida is seeing offensively is they're getting scoring from all different players. It's not just 1 or 2 guys over and over again. This causes Fort Worth not to be able to focus in on any one guy, but I'll tell you what, Austin Nichols is already off to a much better start than he had last game, and he's already got more points than he had all of Thursday as well.
Nichols with 6 points, 2 of 3 from the field, and now 3 of 3 from the foul line to make it 7 points. Flames showing some signs of life. They trailed by 11 at 17-6, and now have cut the deficit to just 5. Udoka outside the lane, and his jumper from the left wing is up and good over Stokes. Well, Ime Udoka, 9 points. He is second on this club in scoring behind Raul Marshall, who we have not seen in action as of yet today. Nichols on the pick and pop, finding Smith. Akindele right there. Looks over the floor. Now Sorrentine, shot clock down to 6. He's got to hurry. Takes it left side at the baseline. Right hand floater, good with 2 on the shot clock timer. He put it home for his first field goal. And the Flame are back within 5.
Even more impressive is Sorrentine attacking the baseline with little to no time left on the shot clock. Shoots his shot over the tallest guy on the floor, Luke Schencher.
Udoka off the Schencher screen this time. No good. And Irwin, another rebound for the Flame. The Florida, the defense starting to step itself up as Irwin at the baseline tried the drop step on Schencher, and he got a shove, and Luke Schencher picks up the personal. So Schencher with his first, 15th foul. Free throws coming up for Florida, but we have reached the mandatory. 2:52 to go from Germain Arena here in the first quarter. The Flame trying to find their way back. They trail the Flyers by 5, 21-16 on UPN 8.
Century 21 Sunbelt Realty is the #1 Century 21 in the world. Barbara Watt and her team of over 800 real estate professionals will provide you with the best service, the best value, and the fastest results in the industry. We're #1 for a reason. Let us show you why. When you think Century 21, think Sunbelt.
So does this plan come with unlimited minutes?
Yeah, it's limited.
I'm sorry, did you say unlimited?
Unlimited.
Because kind of sounds like you're saying limited.
Oh, wouldn't that be something?
Yeah, actually your sign says limited too.
Get truly unlimited wireless anytime for just $40 a month. Metro PCS.
Hello, hello, hello.
Permission to speak freely.
Flame on 3. 1, 2, 3, flame.
The road to the NBA runs through Southwest Florida.
See the future of the Heat when you catch the flame.
Our game, our flame. Our game, our flame. Our game, our flame.
Our game, our flame.
Our game, our flame.
It's our game, our flame.
Our game, our flame.
Our game, our flame. Yeah!
Catch the flame. It's hot.
A comprehensive center of excellence right here at home. Lee Cancer Care, part of the Lee Memorial Health System.
Why settle for the same old entertainment show tonight when Nancy and Billy give you access every night? Access to the biggest stars.
Best I've had at work yet.
And the best gossip.
Who's a better kisser, Colin Farrell or Madonna?
No one does Hollywood like Nancy and Billy.
Weeknights at 7:30 on UPN 8.
Flame trailed 17-6, but Florida discovering its offense. And the Flame back within 5 at 21-16. Looking at the standings coming into today's contest, the Flyers atop the league rankings, 21-12 overall. They have a half-game lead over the second-place Austin Toros at 20-12. Austin in action today, and the Toros are hotter than the Flyers right now. They've won 7 in a row. Florida on a 3-game losing skid in third place at 20-13, just a game out. As DeJuan Irwin at the line. Free throw is up and good for Irwin, the rookie out of Memphis, 6'9", 250-pounder. He played for John Calipari there for the Tigers. Second one, good as well. And Florida now within 3. So Terry Thimler up off the bench now, and he has reason to like what his ball club's doing now. As Terrell in the lane, straight on fadeaway is no good. As Sorrentine will bring it front court in. As TJ, part of that great Catamount upset last year in the NCAA tournament for Vermont over Syracuse. As it's off to Stokes, his right wing long 3 is no good back rim. Florida shooting at 6 of 14 from the floor at 43%. Fort Worth 10 of 19 at 53%.
Yeah, when you look at the field goal percentage from last Thursday's game, Florida was only shooting at 42, so they need to keep that percentage up there.
Langford missing an easy one inside. And now Sorrentine will lead the offense. Irwin leans in against Ockendell. Wild right-hand runner is no good. As Irwin a bit out of control there. And Ime Udoka as he tries to work it front court in. As now they'll set up the post up. Ockendell spinning against Irwin. And he tried to clear out with that right forearm. Offensive foul called on Deji Ockendell. And DeJuan Irwin baiting him into that, just backing up as Ockendell spun right into him.
Yeah, and Ockendell might be the most important player on the floor right now for Fort Worth, because when Schencher gets into trouble, he's the guy they look for. He's a guy that averages about 10 points and 5 rebounds a game, so he's a very important big man to take out of the game for Fort Worth.
Ockendell, his first foul. As Smith thought about the 3. Finding Leach. He's going to work on Big Nick Shepard on the block. Tried to spin around him and turned it over.
Tough break right there for Florida, but the important thing right now is they're not giving up any points either. And defensively, even though Fort Worth has had 1 or 2 drives, the more prevalent thing we're seeing is that they're missing their jump shots, and that's what Florida needs to focus on. Keep making Fort Worth take those jump shots, because even though they might make 1 or 2 here and there, and they're pro basketball players, they're going to, but their game is slashing to the rim, and Florida's preventing them from doing that effectively right now.
In a 3-point game, Langford on the take, shot blocked inside, Leach stepping over again. Numbers, now Sorrentine down the middle, finding Stokes as the pass behind him. He didn't expect it, tried to throw it off of Udoka, but Udoka able to save it. He's got numbers, 4-on-2, Langford to the goal, 2-hand jam. Keith Langford with the throwdown in transition with 55.1 seconds to go in this first quarter, and the Flyers outrunning again. And Florida back with a 5-point deficit. But again, turnovers costing Florida big time in this first quarter.
Well, that was just one great big lack of execution from the get-go. When Lenny Stokes tried to throw it in off of the Fort Worth player, he just basically handed it to him, and that put the wheels in motion for their offense.
Leach gets away from the overplay, Shepard, but missed it inside. And Udoka, another rebound. Ime has been all over the place in this first quarter, 9 points. He has 3 assists, 4 of 5 for the field. Terrell from the outside, he connects. Anthony Terrell's second long-distance jumper that he's knocked down here in the first quarter.
And there's not much you can do against that, because Theron Smith was there in time. He made the rotation, got the hand in his face. Terrell just had the better jumper than Smith had defense.
The Flame down by 7. Momentum getting away from them here. Stokes off the double. Smith will launch for a 3. That's no good. Shepard the rebound. And the Flyers will hold for the final shot of the quarter.
Florida's been keeping Fort Worth on their heels in the low block, yet they've continued to take jump shots rather than drive the lane lately.
Langford on the pull-up beats the horn, and that will end the first quarter. Keith Langford, a spark off the bench. Fort Worth forcing 8 Florida Flame turnovers in the first quarter that have led to 13 Flyers points. We go to the second. It's a 9-point Flyers lead, 27-18 over the Flame on UPN 8.
The #1 Century 21 in the world. For over 20 years, Barbara Watt and her Century 21 Sunbelt Realty team have been providing unparalleled real estate service with 21 offices throughout Southwest Florida. We're #1 for a reason. Let us show you why. When you think Century 21, think Sunbelt.
Boxed in by a bad wireless phone plan, trapped in a contract without enough minutes. Let Metro PCS set you free with unlimited local and long distance for just $40 a month and no contract. Metro PCS.
Hello, hello, hello.
Permission to speak freely.
Go! Flame on 3. 1, 2, 3, flame!
The road to the NBA runs through Southwest Florida.
See the future of the Heat when you catch the flame.
Our game, our flame. Our game, our flame. Our game, our flame.
Our game, our flame.
Our game, our flame.
It's our game, our flame.
Our game, our flame.
Our game, our flame. Yeah!
Catch the flame. It's hot.
Lee Convenient Care Walk-In Medical Centers offer quick, friendly, and quality health care with no appointment. For hours and locations, visit leememorial.org.
You know who your friends are.
How did you and your doggy get out of your house?
They give it to you straight.
What you're supposed to do is give your drinking up and stay home with baby.
They're always dependable.
What would you do if I offered you some help?
When you're in need.
Who you can call?
Cops.
Weeknights at 10 on UPN 8.
Florida Flame basketball on UPN 8 is brought to you by Far Team SunTrust Mortgage, fast, accurate, reliable results by Metro PCS, permission to speak freely, and Century 21 Sunbelt Realty. When you think Century 21, think Sunbelt. We go to the second quarter. Fort Worth on a late first quarter run, a 6-0 spurt prior to the end of the period to give the Flyers a 9-point advantage at 27-18. As the Flyers in the first quarter of action, shooting 54% for the floor. The Flames just 6 of 17 to 35%, but the difference right now in the turnover department, Florida with 8 in the first quarter, which led to 13 Fort Worth points. Flyers basketball to start out this period. As here's Langford off a Shepard screen. Rowland fights underneath, but Langford enough space to put it off the iron, and he got it to fall.
And Langford, what a luxury to have coming off your bench. Last night, one of the players of the game for Fort Worth scoring 16 points off the bench and already making his presence felt right now.
So Keith Langford, 6 points. As Rowland on the tank against Langford with his right-hand floater and scores. As E.J. Rowland with his second field goal today. 4 points now for the 6'2 rookie out of St. Mary's College, member of the West Coast Conference. 29-20. Here is Udoka as he steps up on Stokes. Elbow jumper no good, and Irwin secures the defensive weak side rebound. DeJuan Irwin so far with 5 boards to lead the way for Florida. Now Leach gets away again for the overplay. Leans in against Ockendell, switching over. Can't get it to fall, but Leach on the follow of his own miss puts it up and in.
And over the course of the season, when we've seen George Leach in a starting role, he hasn't necessarily performed up to par. But tonight, he's really making the effort, and you can see he's attacking the boards much more than we saw Thursday night.
Udoka to Ockendell, the kick out. Langford again will fire. In and out, no good. Leach could not hang on at the baseline. As it slipped out of his hands, Florida was looking at a run out the other way. It will remain with Fort Worth as Terrell will sit down and Azubuike back in. Kalena in his rookie season, finding Langford, ball knocked away by E.J. Rowland. Rowland, looked upon by his head coach Jeff Malone as one of the top defensive players on this club, if not the best defensive player.
Yeah, he's been a great role player for the Flames so far this season. At the beginning of the season, he had kind of a slow start to things, but lately we've really seen him blossom into the backup point guard that Florida really needs.
As Udoka misfires, and that shooting percentage starting to come down for the Flyers now, which is 50% from the floor this first half. Smith wrestling with Udoka on the right side of the lane, and a foul is called against Theron Smith's defender, Ime Udoka. Udoka picking up his second personal foul. Those two in a good battle here today. Theron Smith so far in this contest with a total of 2 points. Buddy has 4 rebounds. Irwin back to Smith. Now Leach off the double from Langford, trying to get rid of it, backing up. He stumbled, and a foul is called. John Goebel, the baseline official, saying that on the rotation, Langford got him on the arm with his hack there, trying to strip the basketball. Langford with his first foul. That is team foul number 2 against the Flyers in this quarter. 10 minutes to play here in the first half, and the Flame trailing by 7. Smith leans in over Shepard, off the window, scores it. Theron Smith able to put it home in rhythm, leaning in, and Smith with his second field goal to cut the gap to 5. Now Udoka tries to take it across the lane. Finds Azubuike on a switch with Smith. Now back to Udoka, raises over the smaller Nichols and connects from the outside. So on the switch, Udoka able to create some space and get a clear view of the rim there and drain it.
Yeah, Udoka's been a great inside-outside presence tonight for Fort Worth. He already has 11 points, and he's really stepped up for the Flyers in this first half.
Nichols leans in as his floater, no good back rim. Gets his own rebound, goes back up. Shot rejected from behind by Ockendell, and a loose ball picked up off the floor by Shepard. Good defense again by the Flyers in the half-court set. Here's Langford finding Udoka in rhythm for a 3, no good. Tap back by Ockendell, no good. And here is Rowland out of the pack with it. 3-on-3, even numbers as Rowland pulls up. Jumper is well short. Offensive rebound, Nichols. Put back, rejected inside again. It will remain Florida basketball, but the Flyers protecting the rim so well with Nick Shepard in there at 6'11", also Ockendell in there at 7'1".
Well, that started right off the bat in transition when they had 3 guys back making a wall around the rim. And the one thing that you can't coach that Fort Worth has been so impressive with is just putting the hand on the ball. They've been so good at positioning their hands and not drawing any skin from Florida players on the rejection attempts.
Irwin in a crowd, went up, shot was coming out of his hand a bit prematurely, but it gets bailed out. The foul on Ockendell. And Irwin goes to the foul line for 2 shots here. That foul on Ockendell is his second personal, 3rd team foul against the Flyers, and DeJuan Irwin trying to bring the Flame back within 5 with a pair of free throws here.
And Irwin is a guy who's actually a very good jump shooter, grab and shoot, turn and shoot jump shooter, I should say. There's a lot of shooting in one sentence, but that's what DeJuan Irwin does, and he's very good without his face up to the rim. And we're seeing him start to come back into his own the past couple of games.
76% free throw shooter gets them both, and here is Azubuike answering at the other end. From outside, Kaleta Azubuike able to drain the tray. He's a 36% three-point shooter on the year, and he makes it an 8-point game at 34-26. As Smith in a crowd goes up, shot block from behind. Again, Irwin with it, put back, rejected again. And it's a block party going on right now. Here is Langford pulling up, ball knocked away by Rowland. Loose ball picked up by Leach, outlet pass too strong for DeJuan Irwin. And back with it is Ime Udoka, turnover number 9 for the Flame. Florida cannot afford to have a high turnover count here today against an efficient offensive team like Fort Worth. Now Udoka, as he waits for the screen, gets it, met on a switch, tried to split the double team, and he walked with the basketball. So Leach coming over, hedging, and that forced Udoka to try and split the double, but in doing so, he walked.
And going back to that possession where Fort Worth got the ball back, we talk a lot about how they set themselves up in transition, and really when you watch these guys play, they never let anybody from the Florida Flame get behind them in transition. In that case, Udoka was back there, and he was able to collect that outlet pass before anybody from Florida could even get close to it.
Irwin out, Stokes on the floor as Leach turns to the goal, lost it going up, but he was bumped and fouled. 2 free throws for George Leach. The Flyers today trying to overplay, especially on the wings and inside, and deny those entry passes. And right there, Leach was able to make a clean catch and draw the foul.
And right now, free throw is so important for Florida, especially coming from behind here in the second quarter. Thursday night, we saw him shoot 72% against Fort Worth. And really, when you're losing to a team by double digits every game, you really need to collect all those easy points, because Fort Worth on the free throw line is no slouch, as they were shooting 80% Thursday night.
Udoka and Ockendell out, EB and Miles back on. George Leach, the former Indiana Hoosier, finished his college career in Bloomington, 4th all-time in block shots with 194 during his career there with Indiana. And he misfires on both free throws. Leach, a 68% free throw shooter, comes up empty on that trip.
And really, Florida's got to be selective when they crash the boards, because we know that Fort Worth is so good in transition, and we've seen a few times where Florida hasn't even attempted a rebound just to get everybody back.
And EB leaning in, fires it off the window and scores. Indy EB, an early entry candidate for the 2003 NBA draft, was a first-round pick of the Minnesota Timberwolves in 2003, and another miss by Florida, and EB comes up with a basketball. So 36-26, the Flame were within 3 points at 21-18, but since Fort Worth has regained control as Miles lost it, finding Azubuike, stumbled with it, back to Miles. EB inside, turns on Smith, deep position, and his right-hand roundhouse shot is up and good. And now Terry Thimler, concerned about this contest getting away from the Flame, will call a 20-second timeout with 6:38 to play in the first half.
Yeah, and really, when you go back to that last offensive possession for Florida, we're seeing Theron Smith take more and more jumpers. And, as I mentioned earlier, they're dropping a lot of guys back to prevent the transition basket from Fort Worth. But so far, Theron Smith, against Fort Worth in particular, has drawn his success offensively from attacking the hoop, and he's not doing that right now. And as he's missing jumpers and Florida's not committing anybody to the rebound, you're just giving Fort Worth more and more offensive opportunities. And right here we see Miles right now attack the baseline, and Florida converge on him. He's the point guard for Fort Worth. All you need to do is commit George Leach to him, because he has such a size, physicality advantage. But Florida all converged on him and left Miles with several options for that outlet pass.
As EB again with deep position in the lane on Theron Smith, and Smith's going to have to change that matchup and try to force EB out of the lane if the Flame are going to have a chance in this contest. Is Indy EB now with 4 points and 2 rebounds, and starting to find his offensive rhythm in this first half. So Nichols, Stokes, Rowland, Irwin back on, and also Torian Jones, 6'4", second-year shooting guard out of Notre Dame, onto the floor. Nichols working off the Irwin screen, on a switch by Shepard, finding Irwin on the pick and roll, but he missed the layup, had it blocked from behind. Loose ball picked up by Azubuike, and he's fouled in the backcourt. And DeJuan Irwin, not a smart foul there. He picks up his second. And for the Flame, their first team foul in this quarter.
And this was the beginning of the end for Florida on Thursday night when they started to lose their composure. They need to remember to keep that discipline. And I'd say feed the ball to Torian Jones because he's the one player out of these two teams that have scored the most points out of everybody. 40 points in their contest against each other. That's more than any other player on these two teams has had in their series.
Azubuike leaning in again against Stokes, and his floater is up and good. And the Flyers getting right to the rim with relative ease now. Their lead is 14 at 40-26, and this is their biggest of the contest. Lee Rowland working at right baseline. Now lost his dribble. Here's Irwin against Eby inside. Right-hander no good on the follow. Tipped up and good. Followed his own miss with the putback. And DeJuan Irwin, the Memphis Tiger, able to connect for his 6th point of the afternoon, along with 7 rebounds.
And Irwin's playing with a little bit of fire in his belly right now. Even though he's gotten himself into a little bit of foul trouble early, he's not playing that tentative style of basketball we were talking about.
There's Miles, good space behind the pick from Shepard on the wing, able to knock it down. 40-28, Aaron Miles with his first field goal today, along with 5 assists. 42-28, Rowland, jump pass now, Nichols against the bigger Eby. Can't utilize the quickness matchup, instead finds Jones. Gets caught in the lane, fadeaway is good with 4 seconds on the shot clock. Torian Jones able to hit it.
Very tough jumper right there for Jones. Even though he was well within his range, he was facing a double trouble attack of Fort Worth defenders, and we know how well Fort Worth does at blocking the basketball.
And Langford at the other end responds, getting free of Jones, got bumped, fired it off the window and connected. And a foul called against the Flame, and free throw coming up for Keith Langford. And we have reached another mandatory timeout, so the free throw will have to wait. 4:45 left in the second quarter from Germain Arena. The Flyers in control. They lead the Flame 42-30 on UPN 8.
Barbara Watt's Century 21 Sunbelt Realty has 21 offices throughout Southwest Florida and over 800 real estate professionals to give you unparalleled service. We're the #1 Century 21 in the world for a reason. Let us show you why. When you think Century 21, think Sunbelt.
So I'm going to get 5,000 anytime minutes.
Yeah, you get 5,000 anytime minutes.
Why did you just do that?
Why did I do what?
That thing.
What are you talking about?
I would actually just feel better if you could say it again without that thing.
Yeah, you get 5,000 anytime minutes.
Okay, you just did it again.
What?
Switch to Metro PCS, where anytime really means anytime. For $40 a month, talk all you want, anytime. Metro PCS.
Hello, hello, hello.
Permission to speak freely.
Flame on 3. 1, 2, 3, play.
The road to the NBA runs through Southwest Florida.
See the future of the Heat when you catch the Flame.
Our game, our flame. Our game, our flame. Our game, our flame.
Our game, our flame.
Our game, our flame.
It's our game, our flame.
Our game, our flame.
Our game, our flame. Yeah!
Catch the flame. It's hot.
The need for blood doesn't take a holiday. Lee Memorial Blood Centers urge you to give the gift of life. Be a blood donor at any of our hospitals.
This spring, the transformation begins.
For 13 extraordinary girls,
Beauty emerges.
a change like you've never seen.
13 fantasies come to life.
In all new America's Next Top Model, television's most beautiful transformation, coming this March to UPN.
Fort Worth led by 9 points after one quarter. Their lead now expanding to a dozen, 42-30. They lead the Florida Flame here on UPN 8. Tim Beckler along with Nick Kruger as the Flame today trying to snap a 3-game losing skid. And the Fort Worth Flyers trying to extend this 4-game winning streak that has given them sole possession of first place in the NBA D-League standings. So with 4:45 remaining in the first half, Keith Langford will go to the line following the foul against Torian Jones previous to the timeout. So Langford today off the bench 8 points and make it 9. As the former Kansas Jayhawk gets that free throw to fall and a 15-point Fort Worth lead. Sorrentine back on at point now for the Flame. So he'll work it for Stokes. Double team now left side. And the Flyers show his zone look. Sorrentine now for Jones as he leans in and contact was made. A blocking foul called at the right baseline. Torian Jones drawing the contact from Aaron Miles off the dribble. And Miles picking up his first personal foul. That will send Jones to the foul line.
On that last play right there, Fort Worth showed excellent defensive rotation, getting to everybody who touched the ball, but excellent job to Florida for throwing in those head fakes and finding Torian Jones on the baseline to draw that foul and now make the easy bucket, and now he's going for 2.
The Pennsbury, Pennsylvania native in the Bucks County suburbs of Philadelphia at the foul line, and his second free throw goes down. The Flame back within 13, 45-32. Langford, right side. Eby coming to the ball side block. Out of a double. Now back to Langford. Schencher will work it. On the drive, ball stripped, gets it back, goes up, stripped again, and a foul from behind called against Torian Jones. And Terry Thimler coming up off his seat, calling for a held ball situation. He will not win the argument here. And 2 free throws for the Fort Worth Flyers. Terry Thimler has to be very frustrated. His ball club got off to a nice start. Then Fort Worth taking control. Florida coming back to close within 3. And now the Flyers starting to build that advantage back up.
Well, far be it from us to criticize the job the referees are doing, but really right there, Torian Jones had his hand on the ball the entire time, and the ref called the foul very late in the play.
As Eby off the miss from Schencher, air ball, but Langford there to pick up the loose ball. And a new possession for the Flyers. Miles against Sorrentine, a pair of rookies going at it, working off the Eby screen. No pick and roll inside. Schencher backdoor freed up. A bad switch there by Florida as Irwin left Schencher all alone for the lay-in. 48-32. This is the biggest lead of the contest for the Flyers at 16. Torian Jones providing a spark off the bench. On the drive, scoop to the goal, off the window, good. Torian Jones off the bench today, 6 points. Azubuike working off the Eby screen. His jumper from 17 is true. And Azubuike showing the hot hand. 5 of 7 from the floor in the first half for 11 points.
And really, we've been talking all night about, what's Florida going to do without Andre Barrett? What are they going to do without Bracey Wright? I don't think offense is necessarily the problem with Florida. It's their defense not being able to stop baskets when Fort Worth comes answering the buckets that Florida puts down.
As Stokes trying to hop across the lane and split a double team, but Schencher there as he picks up the foul on Big Luke. And for Schencher, his second personal. Free throws for the Flame coming up, but another break in the action. 2:59 left in the second quarter. Fort Worth 50, Florida 34. This is Florida Flame basketball on UPNA.
Century 21 Sunbelt Realty is the #1 Century 21 in the world. Barbara Watt and her team of over 800 real estate professionals will provide you with the best service, the best value, and the fastest results in the industry. We're #1 for a reason. Let us show you why. When you think Century 21, think Sunbelt.
So does this plan come with unlimited minutes?
Yeah, it's limited.
I'm sorry, did you say unlimited?
Unlimited.
Because kind of sounds like you're saying limited.
Oh, wouldn't that be something?
Yeah, actually, your sign says limited too.
Get truly unlimited wireless anytime for just $40 a month. Metro PCS.
Hello, hello, hello.
Permission to speak freely.
Go! Flame on 3. 1, 2, 3, flame!
The road to the NBA runs through Southwest Florida.
See the future of the Heat when you catch the flame.
Our game, our flame. Our game, our flame. Our game, our flame.
Our game, our flame.
Our game, our flame.
It's our game, our flame.
Our game, our flame.
Our game, our flame. Yeah!
Catch the flame. It's hot.
A comprehensive center of excellence right here at home. Lee Cancer Care, part of the Lee Memorial Health System.
The word is out. Everybody hates Chris, except the Washington Post and TV Guide, Newsday, USA Today, Time Magazine, Salt Lake City, There may be haters, but we can't find them.
Fort Worth leading Florida 50-34. 2:59 remain.